Hey everybody, welcome back to Jay Hunto's Garage. Today we're getting deep into Project Oddball.
Look out!
So I got the hoist today, that's that guy. Got this guy back up on the engine stand where it belongs. And I'm going to go ahead and pull the subframe. Pulling the subframe on these cars is extremely easy. It's just bolts. It's a lot easier, of course, without the engine in it. So if the engine is in it, you've got to jack up the back of the car, get that up on jack stands as high as you can get it, and then get everything disconnected in the front end. And what I do is use the hoist connected to my sway bar mounts, which are over there, and I lift up the whole car that way. Since the engine's not in here, we don't have to lift it up so far. The transmission is staying for now, so I don't need the back of it up. I just need to take off these 4 bolts for the struts. In order to get to these 2, actually this one, you have to take off the nuts for the master cylinder, just move it out of the way, and you'll be able to get to that one just fine, which is what I did. 4 more on the other side. These 3 brake lines, 1, 2, 3. You also have to remove your steering shaft. Sway bar mounts, these 2 bolts on both sides, and disconnect your 2 power steering lines from your steering rack. And the 3 bolts that hold the subframe to the frame. There'll be one here, one under here, and one up here in the front. Then this guy will drop straight down. Before you take the subframe bolts out, you want to make sure you got your jack stand in place supporting the subframe, and I like to use these dollies. Put these right underneath the discs so that you can roll this thing out of the way. Okay, the car is jacked up as high as I can get it. Jack stands here are holding it there. Now with the 6 bolts out, any electrical connections for ABS have been disconnected, and the sway bar is disconnected, brake lines are disconnected, and the power steering hoses are disconnected. Prepared to catch all your fluids. In this case, it's power steering fluid. You're going to lose all of it out of the reservoir. Okay, the engine hoist is hooked up to the sway bar mounts, just like I said, and now we can lift up the front end and get it to clear the suspension when we drop it down with the floor jack. Okay, she's down as far as she can go. We've got a little bit to clear right here. So I need to bring the whole body of the car up probably 4 inches. Very important to have the wheels chalked when you're doing this. Okay, we've got our clearance. It should slide right out now. With the engine hoist, obviously I can't slide the subframe out from the front, so it's got to go out the side. When you do that, you'll just have some things to make sure you clear, like transmission lines if you have an automatic, miscellaneous wires, whatever. you're going to do this, you want to allow yourself about 5 hours, just a Saturday. You can get the engine, transmission, everything out. The only thing I didn't do was disconnect the drive shaft, the exhaust system, but it was already out, and the electrical connection and the shift cable and the transmission cross member, and that's the only extra things you have to do to get the car off of the K-member, the engine, and the transmission. It all comes out together. I kind of like that. Bringing the engine out from the front of this thing was such a pain. This is way better. And so I've done it both ways now. So I can tell you it is better pulling it out from the bottom. This job altogether takes 4 to 5 hours, especially if you're by yourself. But that's what I like about this car. You can do anything on this thing, one man, with dirty hands. And this gives you an opportunity to fix things that have been annoying or failing or getting close to failing, and also getting everything done that you want to get done. And then when you get it all back together, you can have peace of mind that everything's clean. Threads are lubricated with anti-seize. Any connectors that you find that are damaged, you can go ahead and replace those. Bushings, you can paint things, you can clean things. If you live in the Rust Belt, good luck. This is going to be a real big pain. But if you're not in the Rust Belt, this is a worthy project. And these cars are so cheap now that you can pick these up for $250, $500. There's probably as cheap as they're ever going to be, because it only goes up from here. Okay, coming up next, I'll be changing the rack and pinion on this thing from new. I bought it from a parts store with the initials AAP, and right away had slop in the steering. Rebuilt racks. If you know where to buy new racks, I'd sure like to know that, but buying a rebuilt rack, you're rolling the dice. Also coming up on DIY Confessions, let me give you a little teaser. This is the engine I just got assembled, fully assembled. Other than I got to take the pan off and do something. That's a confession. And also, this is the original harmonic balancer. It's got 2 pulleys. I ordered a new one for supercharged Grand Prix 3.8. And that's what I got. Single. This will not drive the supercharger. You've got to have both pulleys on here to drive the supercharger with the belt there. And I didn't catch it and installed it, and now I gotta take it back off and do it again. What's your confession?